In a quiet land, long before great cities and modern nations, there lived a young shepherd boy named David. His story is one of courage, faith, failure, and redemption, a story that has inspired generations across thousands of years. This is the story of how a simple boy became one of the greatest kings in history. David was the youngest son of a man named Jesse. While his older brothers were strong and experienced, David spent his days tending sheep in the fields. He wasn't the obvious choice for greatness. In fact, he was often overlooked. But David had something special, something unseen. He had a deep faith in God and a heart full of courage. One day, a prophet named Samuel came to Jesse's house. God had sent him to choose a new king for Israel. Jesse presented his older sons, tall, strong, impressive. Surely one of them must be the chosen one. But God said no. Finally, Samuel asked, "Are these all your sons?" Jesse hesitated. "There is still the youngest, but he is out tending sheep." They called David in, and in that moment God spoke. "This is the one." David, the shepherd boy, was anointed to be the future king. Not long after, the nation of Israel faced a terrifying enemy, the Philistines. Among them stood a giant warrior named Goliath. He was massive, powerful, and undefeated. Every day, Goliath would shout, challenging Israel to send a man to fight him. But no one dared. Even King Saul was afraid. One day, David came to the battlefield to bring food to his brothers. When he heard Goliath's challenge, something stirred within him. "Who is this giant," David said, "that he should defy the armies of the living God?" The soldiers laughed. He was just a boy. But David was not afraid. He went to King Saul and said, "I will fight him." Saul doubted him, but David insisted. "I have fought lions and bears while protecting my sheep," he said. "This giant will be no different." David stepped onto the battlefield with no armor, no sword, only a sling and 5 smooth stones. Goliath laughed when he saw him. "Am I a dog," he roared, "that you come at me with sticks?" But David stood firm. "You come with a sword and spear," David said, "but I come in the name of the Lord." With one swift motion, David slung a stone dart. It struck Goliath in the forehead. The giant fell, and just like that, the boy defeated the giant. After that victory, David became a hero. Songs were sung about him. "Saul has slain his thousands," they sang, "but David his tens of thousands." But not everyone was happy. King Saul became jealous. The same king who once welcomed David now saw him as a threat. Saul tried to kill David more than once. David had to flee, living in caves and hiding in the wilderness. Yet, even when David had the chance to harm Saul, he refused. "I will not touch the Lord's anointed," he said. David chose mercy over revenge. After many years, Saul died in battle, and David was finally crowned king of Israel. He united the nation and made Jerusalem its capital. Under David's rule, Israel became strong and prosperous. He was not just a warrior, he was also a poet and musician. Many of the Psalms in the Bible are attributed to David, filled with emotion, honesty, and faith. But David's story is not one of perfection. At the height of his power, David made a grave mistake. He saw a woman named Bathsheba and desired her, though she was married. David took her and tried to cover it up. This led to betrayal, and even the death of her husband. It was a dark chapter in David's life, but when confronted, David did something remarkable. He admitted his sin, he repented, he humbled himself before God, and though he faced consequences, he was forgiven. David ruled for many years. He made mistakes, but he never lost his faith. He is remembered not as a perfect man, but as a man after God's own heart. From a shepherd boy to a giant slayer, from a fugitive to a king, from failure to forgiveness. David's life reminds us that greatness isn't about perfection. It's about courage, faith, and the willingness to rise again after we fall. So the next time you face a giant in your life, fear, doubt, or challenge, remember David. You may feel small, you may feel overlooked. But with faith and courage, even the smallest can overcome the greatest obstacles. This is the story of David. And perhaps a reminder of what lies within us all.